This is the 21st anniversary of the year that Melissa and her husband Mark opened the first of their food shops. They were a recently married couple then. Today, from their thriving smallholding, they're a family of 3 children, 5 dogs, a blossoming business with over a dozen stores. And here is where much of their inspiration is born.
Melissa, I know that you are very passionate about your garden. Where does this enthusiasm stem from?
You know, when one lives such a busy life, it's a wonderful escapism to be able to spend time in your garden, doing something that is rich and rewarding in a different way, and just learning about things that you love, and learning through trial and error. Having known nothing when I started out, I think it's a very good indication of how we should live our lives, and being part of that process while gardening and learning is just such an enriching experience for me.
Inspired by what she calls her simple life around nature, this renowned entrepreneur also writes a blog in which her gardening experience is a major feature.
A lot of time and energy has gone into making this beauty.
It was really dilapidated, this place. We removed 160 tons of rubbish when we first moved onto this property. So that was a major, major task at first. We then set out to do a very basic structure of the garden once we cleared all the rubbish out. We did everything ourselves. We went into forests and we collected poles and cut them down. I mean, we built fences out of them. I mean, today we've planted wild roses over them and you can't see them, but in the early days, everything was really stark and all you could see was this structure and you couldn't imagine it ever becoming overgrown and mature, but that is part of the enjoyment gardening does give to you.
Well, I'd love to experience being a part of that process.
Well, luckily there's always lots of things that need to be done in the garden, and there are wonderful things that I've planned today, so I'd love you to come and help me.
Great.
Melissa's blog recently made suggestions on what to plant this month for the best seasonal ingredients in your home cooking. As well as vegetable and herb ideas, she shares info on plants which can survive water shortages.
Melissa, how do you manage to create a Waterwise garden?
When we first bought this property and I started creating the garden, I wanted an English garden. That's what I loved and I wanted to create. And I very soon realized after the first year that it's extremely intense from a maintenance point of view and certainly from a Waterwise point of view. So I changed that very quickly. So I've selected plants like rock rose and blowsali, sages, buchu, geraniums, tilbachia. Those are all indigenous plants that require very little water because they've adapted to this environment. And we use the leaves that fall from the tree in autumn and we mulch the soil, which definitely keeps it moist for extended periods of time during the summer. And all these small things help to keep your garden moist and looking beautiful without having to water at all. So this garden, being indigenous now, requires very little water. In fact, I don't water it all through the summer and it looks beautiful all the year through.
When she isn't busy managing her 400 staff, opening a new store or traveling for research, you'll find this unassuming businesswoman here, trying something new with plants.
What are some of the key elements when it comes to gardening?
I think succession plant. You don't want a situation where you plant a lot of something and then you have gluts of that at one particular time in the season. So you want to plant in succession, possibly every 2 to 3 weeks you want to plant the same type of vegetable, so you have that vegetable or fruit that you can eat throughout the year. That's very, very important. Also companion planting, and there are certain plants and herbs and flowers that work well together and they support each other in maintaining their health and making them strong and preventing insects and pests from attacking them.
What do you find are the mistakes people often make?
I think definitely planting at the wrong time of the year. The plants can't get going and they can't realize their full potential. I think also not knowing the plant and what conditions it likes to thrive. So if one plants a plant that requires shade in a sunny area or a plant that requires sun in a shady area, that's also problematic. So that's very, very important. If you take all those things into consideration, you are definitely bound to have a beautiful garden.
All this gardening has left me quite parched.
We've got some wonderful organic lemons now, so should we go out and make some delicious lemon cordial?
If you've found one of her dishes or drinks that you've never tasted before, it was probably born here.
Melissa, I've actually tried your lemon cordial before and I love it, so I'm excited to see how you make it.
Well, it's wonderful to have such a glut of lemons after the winter season to be able to make some fresh lemon cordial for summer. And it's really, really simple, and that's the most wonderful thing about it. All you need to do is juice 12 lemons and grate the rind of 6 lemons to give it extra flavor. And then to that we add 6 cups of sugar and the lemon rind and the juice. Strain the juice so you just remove the pips from the cordial. And then all you do is you dissolve dissolve that with the sugar over a gentle heat. And once the sugar is dissolved and the syrup has cooled down, you just need to bottle that and refrigerate it to keep it fresh.
As a child, this future dynamo was always baking, cooking, and wrapping little gifts she'd made herself. That passion never went away, and now she's earning a living doing what she loves.
To 21 years this year. Cheers. Do you remember the early days?
21 years ago was half my life ago, and it was never intended to be what it is today. It was intended to be a small grocery store that I opened early in the morning and closed in the late afternoon just to keep me busy. And today we've opened many stores. We boast 14 stores around the country, with another 3 to open before the end of the year. So it's grown substantially, and not the way that we intended, but there's been a great demand and something that we've had to do.
Well, the more the merrier. We can't wait.
Here's to little girls' dreams and the wonders they grow into.